Hey yogis, I'm here in your inbox today to talk about the mind, meditation and the mind. So, of the 4 pillars of yoga, the mind or meditation is number 3. As we move through these 4 pillars, starting at the very beginning, which is the most gross and kind of tangible, the physical body, we go increasingly subtle, and the mind is incredibly subtle and incredibly powerful. So I gave a lecture last night in my membership, a 30-40 minute lecture on the significance of mind and meditation, and very specifically what the yoga tradition says about the mind. And I have to say, the longer I practice and the older I get, the more I think that this one pillar is kind of the most important one. I mean, they're all important and they're all interconnected, but our minds are just so unbelievably powerful. And we can gain a certain mastery over the body. We can achieve fancy and complicated poses. We can even achieve a certain mastery over our energy and our breath work, the second pillar. And in some ways not really fully tap into the power of the mind. And it's so darn all-encompassing that if we don't actually begin to uncover the layers of our mind and our habitual patterns through meditation, then I almost feel like you can't really say that you're a yogi. That the yogi must actually begin to gain control of the mind in order to be considered on the yogic path. So there's so many things I could say about this, and the lecture obviously was much longer. But one of the most valuable aspects of meditating is it's a non-doing state. We're not in a pose, we're not trying to change our breath, we're not working with a certain technique in terms of inhaling longer, exhaling shorter, etc. We are becoming still and then beginning to focus the mind. And in this process, and there are thousands of techniques, one thing that becomes very clear over time is that we have these habitual mental patterns that are oftentimes negative, not positive, and not helpful. And it's only when we get still enough, long enough, and regularly enough that we begin to see, oh, this is the same story, maybe ever so slightly different, but this is the same story over and over again. And the ancient seers had a word for that, and it's called samskara, that there is this groove, this habit pattern that's initiated at some point, whether it was past life, you could say, or something in our childhood, or even something later in life, that there is some sort of event that the mind begins to create a pattern around, a thought process around. And the grooves get deeper and deeper. And they become so deep and all-encompassing, even at such a deep level that it's unconscious, that it literally begins to color how we experience life. So it goes from a samskara to a vasana, which literally means to color. And we're often, very unaware of these things. They just sort of rule us and play out over and over again in our lives without us consciously knowing that this is happening. So the path of meditation, or the process of meditation, helps us to uncover those samskaras, to recognize those habit patterns, and then to actually consciously choose. Is that thought that I'm not good enough, is that really true? And is it actually helping me, further myself along my life path? No, it isn't. And some samskaras can be positive. And then we recognize them for what they are, and we can continue to utilize them. But the big thing is really to uncover and uproot those deep unconscious ones that are not supportive and that are negative and in some way keeping us from seeing the truth, right? Of knowing who we really are at the deepest level, and therefore able to live with that and live aligned with that. So gaining control of the mind is fundamental. So we do it first in meditation. We see our crazy. We see all the stuff that's stirred up when we get still. And then it becomes even more potent when we see it out in daily life, when we actually catch ourselves in that thought pattern or in that repetitive behavior and change course. So it takes effort, it takes work, it takes awareness, but it is one of the most potent benefits of meditation. I could go on and on about all the other benefits of meditation, but I really just wanted to highlight that one specific aspect that we actually, and it's the definition of yoga itself, we actually begin to make the unconscious conscious. And then we choose wisely, skillfully, positively, the grooves, the tracks, the beliefs, the samskaras that we want to create. So I highly recommend you begin to carve out daily time for getting on your cushion and sitting and being still and being quiet, and probably with the support of a teacher and a specific technique, because we all struggle with the mind being busy. That is the very nature of the mind. So discovering a tool that's effective and helpful for you is really important. So I'm going to encourage you to do some research, to reach out to teachers. You can certainly use my platform to find a good way for you to meditate, a good meditation technique that helps you to establish this positive daily habit. Namaste, yogis.